No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to Smack It Raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the number one wrestling podcast on your favorite spicy sites, Smackin It Raw. I am your host, the patron saint of podcasting, the warden Matt Ritter. I am here with my guest host today. He is purveyor of Rivet City Radio, host of Botch Spots and Chair Shots, Botch Spots After Dark, the lesser half of the boss bitch herself, the Will Gray.
I'm just really glad to be here. Like, there's really nothing else to say. I had a really open Saturday, and like I said earlier, I was planning to hijack it almost without consent. But it's 2024, so we do everything consensually. So I text you to ask if you were okay with me hijacking your show, and it turns out you needed me anyways, so I'm here.
Who knows what the fuck would be happening? Because Katie said maybe, and then I just haven't heard back from her, and Vince is still not here. So thank God I had you on deck. And like I said, I was actually right about to text you and be like, "Hey, you bored? You want to do something tonight?" And then your text came through. I was like, "Oh, that was easy."
Perfect.
So it worked out. I want to thank you guys if you're watching us live, whether it is over at twitch.tv/CrazyWorld, where if you have Amazon Prime, you have Prime Gaming. If you have Prime Gaming, you can link it to your Twitch account and you can get a free sub every single motherfucking month. Every single one. And all you have to do is then go on a web browser and then use that, because it won't let you use it through the fucking app, which the app sucks on iPhone anyway, because every time I open it, it wants me to update and it makes me go to the store to update it, and it pisses me off. Instead of just automatically updating, and I checked, and all my automatic updates are on. So get your shit straight, Twitch. But anyway, if you're watching us on Twitch at twitch.tv/CreationWorld and you have that sub, give it to us. But if you don't give it to us, Rivet City Radio, guys, Off the Top Media, who is in the chat over there, The Boom with Cam. We talked about Botch Spots and Chair Shots. We talked about Boss Bitch Trivia. We talked about Botch Spots After Dark. That is just some of the content you can get by subbing to Rivet City Radio. Some of, like, a portion. That's not even all of it. So if I'm not for you, I don't know why the fuck you're here watching me, but if I'm not for you and you don't want to sub to me, go sub to Will. Also, Katie accepting subs over at She Leads Showcase, as always, even though she's not here. Please support her. It's Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, everybody. Happy Pride. Shout out to Katie, who is celebrating Pride today, which is why she may or may not make it through. And I'm proud of our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/CreationWorld, where it is free to like, to subscribe, to comment. Will, what does that do?
It boosts the algorithm and it helps find new listeners.
I stole that from Will, and it sounds great every time we do it. And Will, why is that important to me?
Because you're a whore, Mateo.
Facts. Facts don't care about your feelings, but I do, because I'm a whore, but I'm a whore with empathy. Listen, I am here to entertain you. We've talked about it. I was doing push-ups on the post show last week. We've been lifting weights. We get topless. We talk about all sorts of spits and swallows. Next week, we're going to be joined by Shayna, and we're going to talk about edging. Like, we've done Pornhub watch-alongs. We do so much stuff here for you, for your entertainment. And if I'm entertaining you, I'm sure there's someone else in your family or your close circle of friends that would be entertained by me. You should let them know about us. Be like, hey, come check out this show. This Matt Ritter guy, he's kind of fucking lame, but everyone else on the show is cool. So, like, come watch that. Or maybe you do like me. Whatever it is, you guys should be enjoying us, and you should let everyone you know that is a fan of either wrestling or horror or just video games and TV, whatever they're into, Let them know about Creation World. Let them know about twitch.tv/Creation World, youtube.com/Creation World, and all the content that we have for you guys so you guys can sub. I asked, whose dick does Travis have to suck to get us to 500 subs on YouTube? And I never got an answer. I guess it's Will, so we'll work on that. I'll send him your way. Georgia's not that far from Nashville.
I'm in Atlanta often, just saying.
There we go. I will let Travis know on Thursday exactly whose dick he has to suck. With all that being said, if you guys are on YouTube, please do me a favor and flick that bean, hit that notification bell, and get notified every time we go live, whether it is every Thursday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern for the Creation Conversation, every Saturday, including right now, 10 p.m.-ish Central. We're running a little late today. 11 p.m. Eastern for Smackin' It Raw, and every other Sunday, including next Sunday, for Getting Off, same time, 10 p.m. Central, 11 p.m. Eastern. And with all that said, we are no longer on Pornhub. We are working on new spicy sites because Pornhub cock-blocked us. Go figure. How does a podcast that doesn't actually produce any porn violate Pornhub's terms of service? That's what I need to know. How do you get blocked on Pornhub?
I think I get it from a liability standpoint, though, because in their position, all the channels have to be created equal. So in theory, us here at Creation World and let me think of somebody right off the top of my head. Natasha Nice. Same channels. Nice. They're both equal channels on the hub. One is nothing but porn and one is nothing but fantastic wrestling content, but they have to be treated as equals. So anybody that's on one channel has to be verified and blah, 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 blah. But just because we're not naked, everybody on this channel theoretically should still have to be verified.
Which is fine with them not posting the videos for guests that aren't verified.
Fair.
But completely cock blocking us and saying we violated terms of service for not that thing. For not what you're talking about. That's not what the issue was.
See, I thought that was why. What was the violation for then? And using the collective we, like everybody who's ever participated on Creation World as a whole, because there's a lot of characters that have came through.
So you've been on all this on all these shows. You know how we do things. We are very careful. If Zoe ever shows up, those episodes don't get uploaded for
never
obvious reasons. However, they cited a child focal point in our videos for some reason, and I don't know what that would be. So that was the reason that they said they completely just removed the channel altogether.
That's wild.
Again, I'm a grown-ass man. I'm verified. Mara is grown. She's the youngest person on the channel. Travis, again, grown. Like, all of us verified with IDs and of legal age, so I have no idea what the fuck that was about, other than they've just had it. They knew we were too fucking entertaining, and they were scared that we were going to take away from their porn content. So they were like, we need to shut these guys down before people start coming here to not jerk off. Or you guys could still go there and jerk off.
But the channel had the watch-alongs. You could do both. See, I thought maybe the Pops, the Funkos, maybe. You know what I mean? Because they look like small people, even though they're they look like Funko Pops. But like, maybe, I don't know. I'm just speculating, but
I have no idea. All I know is we got cock blocked by Pornhub. But we're gonna find other places, and you guys will be able to enjoy us alongside all sorts of other different disgusting and erotic sex acts in videos below and above, and all of that. It'll be fun, and we'll let you know as soon as that's done. What do we got here? Oh, I got. You know what? I probably should have retweeted everything, right? That would have been a good thing to do. You know, send it. But Vince is still not here. He said 20 minutes, and that was about 26 minutes ago. So hopefully he's setting his shit up. Well, I've got news and rumors from Katie.
Let's
see what Katie's got for us. The Owen Cup is returning in AEW. And the winners will receive title shots at All In. So they will get the Owen Cup championships, I'm assuming, but also, I guess, cashing those in for a title shot or getting them an actual title shot, since the Owen Cup belts are not defendable in that essence, which is something I feel like they've kind of like. They didn't even do the fucking the chip this year, did they?
No, the Casino Battle Royale didn't happen at Double or Nothing.
Yeah. So like, I feel like that's kind of something that they've been missing from their TV is like stakes for something like this. Like you win something, and then WWE has the Royal Rumble, and now they have the King of the Ring, and they're doing all of these things. We had the Casino Battle Royale and cashing in the chip, the Dynamite Diamond Ring that MJF has just held on to. That was kind of thing, but like was basically Battle Bowl. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, so we are going to get that. That'll be good. Adam Copeland, who defeated Malachi Black to retain his TNT Championship at the pay-per-view, fractured his tibia. It's going to require surgery, and we do not have a timetable as of yet. We will talk about the decisions that were made based on the TNT title when we get into our spits and swallows and some things that happened. My girl Shotzi Blackheart got stem cell injections to help heal her back, shoulder, and knee.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap.
Well, we've talked about how, in my eyes, in-ring wise, she's a lot more similar to like a Darby Allin or a Jeff Hardy, and it's a lot of miles on the body, throwing yourself around like that, coming off stuff, dropping, and all of that. So, yeah, no, hopefully the stem cell injections help, and her back, shoulder, and knee get back to or near 100%, and we get to see her back, because I feel like it has been a while since we've seen her.
So far, everything you've mentioned are on my spits and swallows list, because I told you I came super prepared tonight. So I apologize for not having a lot to say, because I'm saving a lot of my ammunition for later when I talk about it in depth.
Is Shotzi on your spits and swallows?
Shotzi is not, but
Okay.
again, that's like I said, that was a lot. Like, you hope for speedy recovery. And especially when you hear people who are saying things like it may be a career-ending injury, when you hear those scary words, it's terrifying. But then to hear that they have the option of stem cells and the possibility of a comeback and everything, like, I'm here for it. I'm hyped.
It cured the guy that retired on April Fool's Day because he was not cleared to wrestle, even though he was cured. Am I getting that right? Man, fuck right back. Brooks Jensen, B cubed, if you will, son of B squared, has been released. So we will not be getting Brooks and Dunn back together, Briggs and Jensen back together. Fallon, I will never get the conclusion to the Brooks Jensen Fallon Henley love story that I was hoping for like over a year now. So that kind of sucks for him. We'll see where he ends up if he decides to continue wrestling. Again, we are at a time where, despite the tribalism and the bullshit, TNA is a viable option and AEW is a viable option. Will believes that, along with 9 other people, that the NWA is a viable option. MLW is out there still doing its thing. Like, there are plenty of places to go. Matt Cardona proved that you can go out there and make a shit ton of money on the indies and live well. You don't need to work for a major company and get by. So we'll see what we see from Brooks Jensen in the future. Best wishes to him and all of his future endeavors.
I have an update to that story, actually.
Okay.
And I thought about it as you were talking about it. I was like, I remember reading this somewhere else. Okay. This is coming from Fightful Select, no free shout outs. Brooks Jensen isn't actually going anywhere for at least the time being. Earlier this week, Brooks posted his booking email and insinuated on social media that he was no longer with WWE. In asking Brooks himself, Corey Brennan from Fightful was told by higher-ups, initially asking around, he was met with uncertainty around Brooks's behavior, including from other NXT talent. On May 31st at an NXT live event, blah, 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 blah. Asking further, Brennan was told by a source close to the creative process of Brooks' social media posts have all been storyline driven, and Brooks has been present at several tapings and recent house shows, including sneaking into the crowd for a level up taking for a future storyline with somebody in that program.
Okay.
So all of this has been story right now, and that is coming from Fightful. Again, no free shout outs, but apparently a lot of those rumors of him and the attitude stuff is all storyline based. because apparently a lot of people were going, oh, fuck, Brooks Jensen left the company or got cut or released or whatever. And that was the look they wanted to get, but they didn't realize it was going to be like that big, essentially.
We are going to talk about some fun shit NXT is doing today, Will Gray.
Yes, yes, we are.
I'm fucking excited.
Yeah. Cool. I got to contribute in news and rumors, and I wasn't even going to try to.
You did. I appreciate that. I do. Well, again, it is 10:52, Vince, and you're not here, so we're just going to keep rolling until you show up. Let's get into what everyone is here for, what we are known for, are spits and swallows. Will Gray, spit or swallow?
So I had to think about it. The last show you guys did was Saturday. So you guys haven't covered Double or Nothing yet at all, right?
That is correct.
For my first swallow of the evening, I would like to swallow the fact that Maxwell Jacob Friedman is back on my TV every week. I've been riding on cloud 9 since it happened because we knew the clock started. He showed up at Big Business to meet backstage to discuss when his return was going to happen. And here we are 2.5 months later, and we got him back. He's looking jacked as fuck, coming back like Triple H after he tore his quads with the jean jacket. The vignette that we got going through the mansion, walking in the room with the scarf and the oxygen tank and the dog collar and everything throughout MJF's career. And then when you saw him, it was like, hell yeah. So 1000% swallowing MJF being back in AEW, being back on AEW TV, and not initially inserting himself straight into the title picture. I appreciate the fact that he's going to come back and kind of rebrand this new version of MJF versus just coming back and wanting the Triple B again. You see what I mean? Like, I'm glad.
Oh, absolutely. For that. And it'll be a nice little thing between him and Adam Cole that we never really got to do because of injuries and things like that. So no, I'm down for that. I like also how you came in hot, like that was a first round draft pick.
There's not very many people that are going to fight with me over MJF. I was pretty sure it's like, it would be like Vince in an LWO segment. Like, we're all sure Vince was going to get it, but I was like, yeah, I'm going to hop on MJF before anybody else can.
I'm going to do the same thing. My first swallow of the night is going to set the tone for the night. Ladies and gentlemen, Roxanne Perez was informed by Ava Raine that her opponent for the NXT Women's Championship at Battleground is none other than Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace, making her NXT debut. Jordynne Grace showed up and is challenging Roxanne Perez. And what I like, again, I hate the discourse. I hate going online because I saw people saying TNA wrestlers should be very insulted that they're being put on NXT and not being utilized on the main roster. Listen, if it's good, it's good. It doesn't matter. NXT is one of my favorite WWE brands, if not my favorite WWE brand. I have been touting that for a while. I kind of turned Will around a little bit on his opinion on NXT and got him to kind of sort of start paying attention because of the stuff that I've enjoyed and the good shit that was going on down there. So I am excited for this. Again, with WWE, okay, so we got Jade Cargill, right? Bonafide star. How long did it take them to get her what they felt was camera ready to be on WWE main roster TV, which is essentially what NXT is prepared for? WWE has a style that they use, that they want to present, and they have to teach that to somebody. So having them come into NXT as opposed to just jumping right to the main roster for feuds makes far more sense because then they have control over that. And you also have a little bit more flexibility and freedom in how you present yourself at NXT versus main roster stuff. And if we're being honest, do you really want to see your favorite TNA stars go up to the main roster and get squashed by every main eventer in fucking WWE or mid-carder in WWE? Because that's what they do. That's what they did to everyone in WCW. You had to lose before you could build yourself back up. And you talked about this, Will. Endeavor cannot purchase another wrestling company for 5 years from the signing of that deal. Go ahead. Tell me about it.
One, I agree 1,000% everything you said. NXT swallowing Jordan Grace, swallowing TNA. The two big talking points, and this is one of those things I pride myself on TikTok and Instagram and a few of the other social media sites. I always say I'm the analytics guy, the guy where it's like, black and white, no gray, exactly what's on the paper, right? Two of the biggest things to remember is one, people are saying Endeavor owns TNA. Endeavor does not own TNA. In December of last year, Endeavor bought the exclusive streaming and distribution rights for the TNA Plus app. Mm-hmm. They don't own anything regarding the company. What they own are the broadcast rights to TNA Plus, which is their digital library. The other side of it.
Pause.
Go ahead.
Pause there. So the reason why I started with this news is because it was after this, for all of you people saying that TNA is getting the short end of the stick here, which I after their deal with AEW, I can see why you feel that way. I went and subscribed to the YouTube, the $1 tier, so that I could start watching and covering TNA, something that I have not been doing here. They got at least one new viewer out of this, and I'm sure a few more, because there have been rumors and talks about possible future NXT superstars showing up over in TNA and more people coming over to NXT and cross-promotion stuff. A lot of fantasy booking, stuff like that. Oh, look who's here. Look who joined us. Ladies and gentlemen, joining the episode, he is the Pornhub Poppy, even though we're not on Pornhub. Actually, you know what? You're not the Pornhub Poppy anymore because we're not on Pornhub. You're just the Poppy. He's the Poppy.
Well, Justin's been calling me producer Poppy, so that's what we're going with at the moment.
That's on Get You. You don't produce shit over here. So he is the Sultan of Spitter Swallow, Daddy Delgado, my friend Vince.
I'll take polyamorous Poppy in the meantime.
We'll talk about that because I'm glad you popped in when you did, Vince, because my very first swallow was Jordan Grace, right?
Yes.
We're discussing how Jordan Grace showing up at NXT led me to getting a TNA subscription, and then me posting about how I did it, and then Will coming and telling me that they're getting rid of it. So my understanding is there are tiers, and it is the higher tier, the I forget what they called it, but it's like
the Ultimate Insider
that they're getting rid of. The $1 tier that I paid for, I should still be good on because they want to move everyone to Plus, which Endeavor owns. So, Will, now that I paused you, you can continue with what you were saying.
So Endeavor owns the exclusive distribution and streaming rights for all the TNA digital library product, TNA Plus. Mm-hmm. The way the non-compete is worded, and Poppy, to get you up to speed, what I was saying is there are a few things that were kind of thrown around this week that weren't necessarily true. People were saying, oh shit, TNA's in WWE, TKO, WWE, Endeavor, some combination bought TNA. It's a WCW. That's not true. Here's why. It's Article 3 of the closing and merger of the company to form TKO, UFC, WWE. Article 3 states that 5 years and 6 months to the anniversary of the forming of TKO, Endeavor cannot own or operate 51% or more, meaning they can't have the operating majority of a competing wrestling organization. And the way they have a competing organization written in that bylaw is it's literally anything involved ultimately a live wrestling show in any capacity. So they've cock-blocked Endeavor completely from owning and operating any other live wrestling function. You know what I mean? Like they can't do it at all for 5 years and 6 months.
I learned that exclusively on Will Gray's social media. So I already had that information early on this week. So you should also follow at the Will Gray on all his social medias, and you would get
there's some underscores in there.
Yeah.
And based on what Will just said, listen, I know that you were born William Gray. I'm fixing that right now, ladies and gentlemen. He is the Will, black and white, not gray.
Oh my god.
All right. So Vince, Jordan Gray showed up. The The Prohibited Portal was the shirt that she had on, but
Yep.
I think
The
we have a
Prohibited
better
Portal.
title for it. And I'm not going to steal. I was waiting for you. I'm not stealing it from you.
All right.
This was you.
Yes. I was just watching about it, and I was thinking about your relationship with me, and then I was thinking about Will, obviously, and how we're a very polyamorous group. So
Have you
I
also
thought
been watching Couple to Thruple on Peacock?
that as well. And it's one of those things where I just share my wife. Polyamorous relationships are the norm lately, and it does. Well, my wife shares me.
It's okay. Just continue. No reason to explain that. You said what you said. It's a clip.
I'm not yucking any yums, dude. Trust me.
Do your thing. I'm happy.
Yeah.
For you.
No. I meant she's sharing me around. She's passing me around.
That's fine.
You
You
said
can't
you share
take
your
back
wife.
what
That's
you
one of
said,
my.
Jeff.
I was going to say that's one of my favorite porno categories. Keep going.
Anywho,
Samesies.
Jordan Grace, it's being shared about by TNA and NXT. Ethan Page isn't locked up anywhere, so he's not exclusive to anyone. Very polyamorous, if you ask me. So I think this should be dubbed the Polyamorous Portal instead of the Forbidden Door. So I like that. Polyamorous Portal for the WWE TNA merger.
Are you raising your hand or are you saying hi, Allison? Because if you're raising your hand, I will answer any questions you have.
Unless the questions are directed towards me.
I'll answer any questions directed towards Vince for Vince. No problem.
No. You do not speak for me. You're not my advocate.
NXT has opened the polyamorous portal while AEW is dealing in the Forbidden Door, and that polyamorous portal, like we talked about, possible NXT superstars showing up and having a little love over there in TNA. Triple H has even said like he is not opposed to working with other companies now that he is kind of running the creative in the shows. So there may be other things that we see. We know that he had dealings with Evolve and some other indie companies there when he was running NXT.
Mm-hmm.
We had guys like Ultimate Dragon come in. Oh, he was agreeing with the porn category. Okay. Also, she's also a fan of shared wife porn.
This is such a revealing episode.
Polyamorous portal, ladies and gentlemen. And our couple became a throuple. Yes, polyamorous portal absolutely can. I'm leaning towards Sexy Red and HBK as the thumbnail.
I was leaning towards more either Jordan Grace and Ethan Page sharing the thumbnail or Dominic Mysterio being sexually assaulted by Liv Morgan.
No, we don't need Dom there.
Maybe. I might just send it anyway.
Just is with me. Because, like, again, it's polyamorous, right? We're spreading the love around. And Sexy Red, outside of professional wrestling, we're bringing in superstars. Hey, listen, we're not there yet. Vince, I'll get there. Vince, since you're here, spit or swallow. Because I have a feeling you're not going to copy what Will did for his first spit and swallow. So I think we're good.
Let's see here. Where do I want to start? I think, you know what? You're always telling me not to blow my load from the very beginning, but I like to blow my load from the beginning, then reset. 15, 20 minutes later, I'm ready to go for round two. So I'm going to blow my load and swallow the return of Sheamus back.
I swear to God, I thought he was going to say MJF.
No.
I'm sorry.
You're the only Jew I watch in the wrestling universe.
Just the fact he made it a point to tell you not to worry about it, you weren't going to repeat it, and you were like, the return of, I was like, oh God, he's going to do it anyways.
No.
I'm sorry.
The return of Sheamus, the GOAT, best mass wrestler of all time. He's back. He's out here to take names and kick some Ludwig Kaiser ass. I heard talking shit about the GOAT Sheamus while he was out. Came back after 2-week hiatus, getting that work. I loved it. I'm excited. I'm just happy that he's back. Love me some Sheamus. So he's my first swallow.
And that was on Raw?
Yeah, that was on Raw.
Yeah, no, I didn't have that. Will, spit or swallow?
I'm going to spit. I have it written down for my notes for Double or Nothing, but it's an AEW thing across the board.
Okay.
I'm spitting championship eliminator matches but more specifically, championship eliminator matches for other fucking companies. I swear to God, Tony Khan, you can't look at me and go, I've got a 150 person roster, but I really need to put IWGP over right now. You know what I mean? Like that butterfly belt that Moxley's walking around is a hot commodity in my promotion that has 10 titles on its own. Like I really need to put Bushiroad over. You know, that's helping my TBS. And like, no, man, like one of the biggest critiques of AEW right now is that they're not building their own organic stories. I don't think he needs to be using his 6 hours of limited TV time to put over another company. I'm an AEW fan. I love the wrestlers in AEW product-wise, in-ring wise, but I feel like there's a disconnect between the in-ring work and the stories that they're trying to tell. And I feel like having eliminator matches for other companies on your limited TV time is one of those, like, what the fuck moments. Like I always say all the time, don't make a wrestling fan ask, why did something happen? You know what I mean?
I've just never been a fan of like the beat the champion to fight the champion for the championship in general, regardless of what company. I don't like it when WWE does it, where they're like, oh, if I beat Seth Rollins and I get a title shot at Seth Rollins, why not just make it a title match? Like, if anyway,
the only way that I ever am okay with that being the case, it's like, let's say it's in like a multi-person match or like a tag match, which also is a multi-person match, so I don't know why I'm explaining it twice, and then you pin the champion in that setting. Okay, now you're like, okay, I've pinned the champion, now that warrants a title shot, maybe. However, just doing a straight up singles match and then, oh, if I beat the champion, now I get a shot at the title. And I'm with Matt. I don't personally like that. I don't think that's okay. Just do number one contenders. Do a tournament. Do a battle royal. Do a bra and panties match between Braun Strowman and Ricochet. Whoever wins them gets the speech championship. Something like that, you know? Why overthink it?
My next spit, I'm going to take two because we already kind of touched on them, and I want to go back to something that Vince said because I didn't realize it when he said it. I'm going to swallow on NXT both Sexy Red showing up. They announced her hosting the PLE, helps Ava introduce the North American Women's Championship. I saw a lot of cautious skepticism about Sexy Red being on NXT, going into NXT across Twitter. I think she did a great job. I was entertained. I am not a huge Sexy Red fan, but her being there, doing her thing, she clearly seems like she is a wrestling fan. She's also not the only hip-hop artist that we've had on professional or going to professional wrestling this week alone. I saw a lot of people trying to get Megan Thee Stallion out there, but she's too busy dealing with Eminem taking shots at her in his new song. But also,
that's some good fun.
I know. Tatum Paxley showed up, tried to take the belt from her. Michin stops her. Then we got the match between Michin and Tatum Paxley, where Michin won and advanced. But also Ethan Page, because Vince brought up Ethan Page. He attacked Trick in his debut. I did not know that Ethan Page was not signed exclusively to NXT when he showed up. I did not know. I was unaware of that. So this is now news to me. I assumed when I saw him that he was signed to the company.
Likewise, I thought he was signed as well. I don't know. It's in an interesting time. Then that's why it's so polyamorous, because he's not exclusive to a wrestling promotion at the moment. You know?
Exactly. So yeah, swallowing Sexy Red. I'm looking forward to her hosting Battleground. I'm looking forward to Battleground big time. It's going to be a fun fucking show. I'm very interested in a lot of the stuff they're putting on. And Ethan Page showing up. We already talked about Jordan Grace, all that good shit on NXT. Vince,
yes.
Unless you guys want to, you got any thoughts on Sexy Red? I saw you Googling stuff.
No, I'm pulling up my next Spit or Swallow because it's got a visual aid. I wanted to make sure I had it set up ahead of time. That's all.
Okay.
When you said something that triggered a note that I had, and I was like, I need to pull the picture up so when I get into mine, I can screen share it and do my rant. That's all.
I'm just gonna add that
I was also
Page.
I was also Googling who Sexy Red was.
I'm swallowing Ethan Page. I've loved this guy ever since I've seen him wrestle here in Chicago. He was the owner of Freelance Wrestling for a while there, and he tore the house down like with intergender wrestling and just putting the map on people here in Chicago that otherwise wouldn't really get an opportunity. So shout out to him. He is a great talent. He's a good character worker. He reminds me of an LA Knight in the sense where his mic work and character work can really carry his career. In-ring wise is still very solid. I love him. I want nothing but the best for him. Jordan Grace, like I didn't get a chance to touch upon that, but like her versus Roxanne Perez, that's a swallow as well. But I'm gargling Sexy Red just because I don't think she really added anything. I didn't really care for it. Yeah, the NXT crowd popped for it. My wife loves it because she loves Sexy Red, but maybe it's because she plays her so much that I'm sick of her and I'm over her. And I don't really want her on my television. I'm more of like the Young Kings wrestling approach on the Sexy Red thing.
Vince. You literally just said, I didn't think she added anything, and then said that your wife enjoyed it. That is exactly what she added. She is bringing in people who are probably not generally wrestling fans, let alone people that wouldn't be watching NXT, to the NXT crowd. A lot like Bad Bunny did for WWE, which you really enjoy because you enjoy Bad Bunny.
That's different. 100% different.
It's not different because I felt the way about Bad Bunny that you feel about Sexy Red. I didn't know who he was.
Bad Bunny is like one of the staples of LWO. He's the ambassador for LWO.
He is now, but here's the thing. When he showed up, I didn't know who the fuck Bad Bunny was. I didn't hear any of his music. I had no idea. You were so hyped, and I'm like, I don't get it.
To be fair, he came in the first time as just to do a performance. Like, that's all he did, a performance, and he was in and out. And then he was training to do a match, and then did a fucking one spot, and then that was it. Sexy Red, I don't think added what like if she just did a performance, cool, but we'll see what she does at Battleground. But in terms of her like with NXT, I'm gargling. It's like when Kim Kardashian showed up at WrestleMania.
I'm not gonna argue with that. Vince, spit or swallow.
Let's see. Where do I want to go? You know what? I'm gonna go with a spit. And I'm gonna stay on Raw. Bitch ass Braun Strowman 2 weeks in a row. Get the fuck out of Judgment Day business, bro. Like, mind your own fucking business. Leave JD McDonough alone. JD should have won. By the way, kudos to JD.
Listen, no. Hold on. I will allow you to hype every member of the Judgment Day except for JD McDumbass. We are not pretending like we all of a sudden like bobblehead.
I like JD McDonough. Jordan Devlin has one of the best finishers of all time.
You're taking the gimmick too far, Vince.
I'm not. No, look, listen. This is. I'm pulling back the curtain. This isn't gimmick. I genuinely thought he was a fantastic wrestler when he was the Cruiserweight champion. As much as I hated to admit it, he beat Angel Garza for that Cruiserweight title, and he had a fantastic showing against him. And you can't argue that he had a really good showing with Braun Strowman and got a lot more offense in that you would have otherwise expected. So shout out to JD. He should have won. Fuck Braun Strowman. I don't fuck with him. I hope, he just gets a paycheck to sit in the catering, and that's all it is. Stay away from Judgment Day. Stay away from JD. Stop harassing people. JD said no. No means no.
Maybe JD should shut his fucking mouth and not taunt Braun Strowman.
He didn't taunt Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman meddled in Judgment Day business.
And then what did JD say to him?
To stop sticking your nose in Judgment Day business. Mm-hmm. Because he was peer pressure into doing things he's not comfortable in doing, just like sometimes you peer pressure me to take off my shirt.
Okay, first off, you've never been actually peer pressured to take off your shirt because your shirt's never come off. So
sure it has, just not on camera.
That doesn't count.
If we haven't seen it on camera, as far as we know, you shower with that bitch on.
Facts. I have a rebuttal for Vince, if I can jump in before I do my next spit or swallow. So you said that like your hype for JD McDonough was because of Jordan Devlin and his run with the Cruiserweight title. However, Poppy, that's not kayfabe to WWE though, because you can't say that. Because JD McDonough and Jordan Devlin aren't the same person in the same way that A-Kid and Axiom aren't. And all right, they've made it a point to reference on camera that Axiom and A-Kid aren't the same person, even though he was good friends with him in England or some shit like that, right? So come on. They're not the same person.
Okay,
It's not
fair.
the
So
same.
if you just want to take the Devlin body of work, his NXT work I wasn't a fan of, but since he's been on main roster and especially associated with Judgment Day, he was fantastic in the tag match last week. He put on a good performance against Braun Strowman and got a lot of offense in on a guy that's arguably twice his size and like 3 times his weight. So
I see the wall behind you. I understand, dude. You're a big Funko Pop guy. I understand why you like JD. There's no reason for you to.
you
I
get me.
it.
You get me, Will.
I get you.
You understand the
you.
fandom.
I also spit Braun Strowman. I said, quit trying to make Strowman happen. Strowman's not going to happen.
Fuck Strowman.
What up, TC?
So I also spit Braun Strowman.
Quickly, TC, before we move on, do you spit or swallow Sexy Red?
That's an important question.
It's a very important question.
You already know the answer to that because it's been in, like, he's explained it. Like,
I like to give everyone a voice. That's what I do.
The voice of the voiceless. That seems like a Chicago thing, right? I've heard that before.
Yeah.
you have a visual aid, right, Will?
I do have a visual aid.
Will,
Yes.
spit or swallow?
I'm going to spit, and I'm going to show you my spit, and then I'm going to explain while I'm spitting it, and everybody's going to be like, oh my God, Will Gray's so smart. You ready? The speed title is dumb. If you've ever looked at a speedometer or any time of like meter or gauge in your life, the far right, when you get to the highest point, should be where the needle should be on red, not green. So by definition, that title is mirrored, and that man is going as slow as possible, meaning he is running in the exact like preferred limit. This makes no sense for somebody that's supposed to be going 100 miles an hour.
Well, now, if you think about it, if you're wearing the title, then the green is on the left and the red is on the right.
Yeah, but the arrow still points to the green where it would imply that they're going at their slowest point.
Agreed.
Fair. Like, it's backwards. Like, I see the idea like, oh, we're going fast, but like, if you've ever been in a car or worked on anything, like your red line limit is called the red line limit. Like that's where your needle peaks because you're going as fast as possible. I think it's a really shitty design.
The issue is that the red should be on the right side and the green should be on the left.
And they should flip-flop.
The needle should be in the red.
Yes. They should make it to where chromatically it's flipped. You see what I mean?
I think their idea was red means stop, yellow means slow, green means go, but
because a speedometer goes from left to right as it accelerates. So just swap the colors is what you're saying, not swap the arrows.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like make it match an actual like speedometer or a gauge in a car or any gauge you've ever read in your life that goes from green to yellow to red because that's the way gauges read.
maybe just maybe it's so bad and it's so off that it's good. So I'm gonna swallow the speed championship and all its flaws and imperfections because someone has to swallow them.
No, they don't. And I'm spitting with Will. That
why are you the way you are?
That's a very good question.
Hey, I'm okay.
All right. For the very first
things you choose to be.
For the very first time here on Smackin It Raw, based on me watching the product, I am swallowing Xia Brookside versus Steph DeLander on Impact. Now, mind you, I did find out what PCO stands for, and it kind of ruined it for me. I was calling him Frankenstein's wrestler. I enjoy that a lot more because that's what he reminded me of. I did enjoy him showing up and causing Steph to lose the match to Xia Brookside. I am a fan of Xia Brookside from NXT UK. Obviously, Persia Pirotta in NXT. And familiarity. Wow, I can't say that word.
Familiarity.
There you go. With the competitors, PCO is Pierre. I forget what the C was. Kyle just told me, but it's Ouellette. He was one of the fucking French Canadians in WCW. and I've seen him a bunch. I just didn't realize that was him. I didn't realize that PCO stood for his full name, which kind of ruins it for me. But again, he did give Steph a love letter after the match that she reluctantly took, because what else the fuck are you gonna do? I also didn't realize how tall Steph DeLander was. I didn't realize she was 5'10" for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I thought that PCO was just really short, and I'm like, that's kind of weird for a monster, but he's taller than me, so.
Oh man.
I love that you're spitting and swallowing from TNA. Two things. I will forever swallow anything. The perfect created one PCO for one reason and one reason and only. After he met me the first time and I introduced myself, he called me Little Will. And then the second time I met him, he called me Little Will again. And I'm not that much smaller than he is. Like, it was just funny to me that he's called me Little Will twice. And that was never, I introduced myself as Will Gray the same way I do everybody.
Guys.
Hold on. So PCO is his initials, but it stands for the perfect created one?
Uh-huh.
Not his name? Okay, well then that's better because again, Frankenstein's wrestler. I'm good with that. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought PCO was just his initials and he was going by his initials.
There's
That's
a whole story behind where he
told
came
me.
from. Like the French Canadian Frankenstein is another nickname he uses. The Mountie, he was Jacques Rougeau. He was one of his boys at one point. The whole concept is this French Canadian giant, like the muscle for all these groups in the past, unalived, and the French Canadian Frankenstein was reborn.
Okay, I'm down with that.
It's like Al Snow losing his mind and going from the feel good, I love everybody rockers Al Snow, to becoming the Al Snow with head losing his mind, multiple personality syndrome.
Okay.
It's kind of like that. Like perfect.
Vince
Yeah.
You had something you wanted to announce, Vince?
Me?
Yeah, you said, hey guys, and then we just kept talking about PCO.
Oh yeah, I was going to announce that Katie's here, guys. Look, she's here.
Ladies and gentlemen, host of the She Leads Showcase, Inside the Mind of, In the Crowd, getting off in story time with Ms. Katie Kinsey Bay, fresh from Pride.
Hi.
What's up, Katie?
The connection might be a little shitty, so don't mind me.
Are you in a dorm?
Or
no,
something?
I'm not in a dorm.
It looks like you're in a college dorm right now.
I'm at my friend's
About
house.
to experiment for the very first
I'm
time.
in the spare room.
The polyamorous room?
Have you entered the polyamorous portal?
Did you go through the polyamorous portal to get into the room you're in?
You guys are so stupid.
She is regretting joining this call so hard right now.
All of a sudden, guys, it's like the signal's getting real bad.
Well, Katie, since you're here,
so dumb.
spit or swallow.
Hold on, let me pull up my notes. Where do I want to go? I'm trying to think of something you haven't talked about yet.
We've covered very little Raw or SmackDown or anything on AEW.
I don't think we talked about anything on SmackDown.
Okay. I didn't watch SmackDown, so that's good. I will swallow Skye backing Mercedes Moné.
Okay.
Because fuck Mercedes.
I would if the opportunity presented itself.
Skye Blue jumped her twice. So we got the video that showed that Skye Blue was the one that jumped her during the interview. And while Mercedes was watching that, Skye Blue showed up and then jumped her again in the ring after revealing that she was the one that jumped her in the interview. Mercedes did defeat Skye Blue, unfortunately, but, you know, it is what it is. And then at the end, Stephanie Vaquer, right? Am I saying it right?
I'm the wrong person to ask about that. That might be Will's territory.
You are the wrong person to ask how to pronounce the CMLL Women's Champion's name.
She's not the CMLL. She's the New Japan Women's.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, that one.
Oh, no, wait, you ready? Oh, if you go check Last Word on Sports, there's a great article written by Will Gray that covers it as your perfect primer for the Latino belt collector, or Latina belt collector. Lo siento para mi español es muy mal. She started in Chile on the independents, and she worked her way up to Mexico. When she got there, within 2 weeks of each other, she won both the CMLL women's tag titles with her tag champion Zaxius, Zaxius, and then she won the CMLL women's world title from La Catalina 13 días más. So 13 days later, she won the women's world title. Then she beat Julia in her swan song before leaving for WWE to win the New Japan Strong title. So she has 3 championships in 2 different companies.
So I was right.
Technically, yes. Just
That's
like
Not
how I
technically,
was right.
Actually, she is the CMLL women's champion.
Technically, we were both right, but you weren't wrong at all.
Okay,
Let's go with that.
that'll work. I agree with Katie, though. Big swallow on Skye Blue. We will swallow Skye Blue all day long. Like her to walk through that polyamorous portal at any point.
Yeah.
Vince, spit or swallow?
Yes. Let's go back to Raw. Let's stay there. You know, I swallowed, then I spit. Let's alternate. Let's swallow Big Bad Booty Breaker, causing mayhem and being a total fucking menace to Adam Pearce over on Raw. He's regretting drafting him. He's great. I love this unhinged, just pissed off Braun. It's the best thing ever. And then Adam Pearce having to like scold him like a dad, like that's like mad at him because he's got bad report cards or something. It's like, I'm so disappointed in you. You got to do better. Like, if you need help, tell me. I'll get you a tutor. I'll help you. But this is just good. He's very intense. He seems like a serious threat. I wouldn't be surprised to see him be an IC champion or US champion, or if he gets traded over to SmackDown because he's just too much for Pierce to handle, then maybe he can win that US title off of Logan Paul, squash him like he did that dude from last week. And then everything's right in the world.
Listen, Ilya Dragunov was challenged by Ricochet, and man said, I break people, I don't fight broken people, which I loved. And then Ricochet
That's
is
a
like,
bar.
Bitch, I'll fight you right now. They go out there, and the speed champion got speeded again. And I got to watch, even though everyone bitches, oh, the ring announcer shouldn't have any emotion. Like, I got to watch our girl sit there and see Braun come in and see her man get speared and have all of the emotion ringside. You didn't see this?
No, I'm trying to figure out where Katie go. I looked down on my notes real quick and she's gone.
She left mid-sentence a while ago. I'm assuming it was the bad connection. But yeah, no. She's sitting there, she sees Ricochet, she's reacting. It's not on TV, but the cameras caught it. We got a little view of it on TikTok and social media and stuff like that. I enjoy it. So, yeah, all about it. I'm with you. Even though I've said what I've said about him doing the spear, I'd love him to get a different fucking finisher because too many people do the spear. It is what it is.
Well,
It's
he's doing the gore. He's really doing a gore at the core of it. If you think about
gore is a spear.
The gore is not a spear. We've been through this.
Spear.
He is 1,000% goring people the way Rhino did in ECW.
It's so gory.
Mm-hmm.
Hence the name.
Katie, come back.
Katie, come back.
That's a gore. Braun Breaker does a gore the same way you're a whore, but I also broke Braun Breaker breaking Ricochet on a swallow.
Yeah. It's a good time. It's a good time to see Ricochet get his wig split.
He got fucked up.
Oh man.
All right, Will, spit or swallow.
I'm really disappointed that Katie dropped off because I realized I wrote this down, and I'm gonna spit Chad Gable and the bullshit stepdad routine because I think if he wanted to be a heel coach, there's a lot of different ways he could have taken that. Like the bad dude who coached Iceland in the Mighty Ducks 3 is a more convincing heel coach than Chad Gable is. But I did write down, insert dad joke here. But Katie's not here anymore, so it's not really as much fun for me to be like, okay, now insert dad joke here, and Matt be like, hey, you know who else? Blah blah blah. You know, like it would have been funny.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
hold on. Listen, Katie loves Chad Gable because, much like to Otis and Maxine, Chad is the father she never had. He was disappointed. Like he did the I'm disappointed, or I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. This is gonna hurt me more than it's gonna hurt you. He's whipping Otis with the belt. He's picking on Maxine. He's that stepfather that you don't want because he's a fucking prick. Maxine ends up grabbing him by the arm and stopping him. So, like, shout out to Maxine for that kind of strength to just catch him mid-swing with the belt and full-on stop him. She gets tossed out of the ring. Sammy comes down to make the save, tries to get through to Otis, gets beat down by Chad. Otis is being a bitch. All of this is still a spit for me. I'm not a fan of what we are doing with Otis in this situation. And until Otis grows some fucking balls, it is going to be a spit.
Otis.
Yes. Sorry, Vince.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Otis right now looks almost as bad as Bailey getting punked out every single week, and that's a spit right there. I'll just piggyback right there and just like throw that in there so I don't have to talk about it later. Yeah, Bailey's being punked out every week, just as Otis is. Neither of them are being done any favors.
I'm texting Katie to make sure she's not mad at me for the dad joke. So
yeah, tell her. Just go ahead, throw a I'm sorry from Will too. It's all in fun. I love you, Katie. I'm sorry. It would have been a lot funnier if she was here because she would have been like, I fucking hate you guys. Like,
yeah, we'll see how when she texts me back. But ladies and gentlemen, now is the time in the show where I need to plug something, and that something is Patreon/Creation World. Now, we've talked about all sorts of things tonight, and if you caught the pre-show, we were talking a lot about WCW, which is apropos because we have a show on Patreon in our $1 tier. It's called Return to Wrestling, where we cover old school WCW. Travis and I are in 1998. We started at the very first Nitro. Oh, she said, why? What did you say? So she didn't catch it. She's going to have to listen back to that. We cover old school WCW. We started at the first Nitro. We have worked our way up to Fall Brawl, War Games, 1998, Halloween Havoc, 1998. Our next episode will be World War III, 1998. That'll drop later this month. So if you sub now, you get our last episode and you get our next episode already because it's already June. So you'll be good for the June episode when it drops. We also have a Multiverse with Travis and Mara. They just dropped a brand new episode as well yesterday at the end of the month. And that is Superman Batman Apocalypse. So if you guys are a fan of the DC animated universe, please go check that out. And last but not least, if you have to ask, me and my wife Kate, it is Family Feuds and Jealous Moods. Is episode 7 of If You Have to Ask. All 3 of those shows for just $1. If you guys have a little extra money and you want to show us a little more support, you still get all those shows, but you get more stuff as you go up, including this show ad-free. However, if you are watching us live, we have sponsors, and this one's my fucking favorite. So Travis, please take it away.
Tired of feeling sluggish and unfocused throughout the day? Then it's time to try Dubby, the ultimate energy source. Dubby is a powerful, clean energy drink that is designed to help you stay alert and focused no matter what life throws your way. Whether you're a student, a busy professional, an athlete, or especially a gamer, Dubby can give you the boost you need to take on the day or the night. It also contains important aminos and vitamins that canned energy drinks simply don't have. And the best part, Dubby is made with high-quality ingredients and is completely sugar-free, maltodextrin-free, and is keto-friendly. So you can enjoy the energy boost without any of the crash jitters or angst that comes with traditional energy drinks. Simply mix Dubby with water and you'll have a delicious, refreshing energy drink that can help you power through your entire day. And with a variety of flavors to choose from, including Galaxy Grenade, Beach and Peach, and Dragonade, you're sure to find one that you love. So go to dubby.creationworld.com and order your Dubby today. And for a limited time, use code Creatia at checkout to get 10% off your order. That's Creatia at dubby.creationworld.com for 10% off. Try Dubby today and feel the difference. The link is in the description.
Not only are we back, but Katie's back. Hi, Katie.
What did you say?
So Will was talking about Chad Gable and him doing the basically being, a bad dad. He's dropping the lines. This is going to hurt me more than it hurts you, and I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. And he spit Chad Gable. And in your defense, I said, listen, Katie loves Chad Gable because much like to Maxine and Otis, to Katie, Chad is the father she never had.
You can go straight to hell.
I wrote down, and you didn't see it, and I was like, this isn't going to be nearly as funny now because Katie's not here. I love her. It's all in jest. But I wrote down, insert dad joke here in my notes.
You guys
And then he queued me up, so I had to.
I love you, Katie. I'm sorry.
I removed myself because I refuse to be a part of this bullshit here. I am not part of them. I'm not those kind of wrestling podcasters.
As your surrogate father figure, I am proud of you during Pride Month and every month. So thank you for joining us again and fixing your connection. It's fucking awesome right now.
Oh, this is off my phone. I'm not gonna stay on long anyways because I'm fucking exhausted. I mean, it's first day of Pride. I had to show up in some way, shape, or form. Fuck you for the dad joke. I will yell at you more next week. And it's the fact that you texted me.
Well, I thought you were still watching, so I was like, she's gonna hear this, and I'm just gonna.
I was trying to just go off my hotspot, but my laptop was being shitty. So,
I will go back on a month-long hiatus of dad jokes. No more dad jokes for a month, I promise.
No more dad jokes during Pride Month. This is my month to shine. You can't do that to me.
And he did on the first day of the month.
Listen, Will set me up, all right? I didn't have that planned. That was just something.
So you're trying to say you have no self-control, Matthew? That when someone sets you up, you just take it?
Vince, we are the #1 wrestling podcast on your favorite spicy sites. I have you spit and swallow every week. I ask everyone I know, spit or swallow. All I do is make dick jokes. I have zero self-control. That is why I have a podcast.
All we're going to do is make inappropriate jokes for 2 hours anytime Matt asks me to come on this show. You both should know that already. I'm like, he doesn't have a good angel on his shoulder when I'm here. It's only the bad shit that's going to happen.
Another devil.
I'm typically the good angel, but
swallowing also from TNA Impact, Connor from the Ascension over there, because did not know that was a thing, but he goes by Khan, not Tony Khan, not Bishop Khan, just Khan. But it was good to see Connor from the Ascension.
Yeah.
I think he just had a Monsters Ball match, didn't he?
He did.
I couldn't answer.
Oh, I was asking Will.
Look at Matt fucking knowing TNA stuff. If I could show you right now, I'm rock hard.
So swallowing Connor from the Ascension, being over there in Impact, because I did not fucking know that till I tuned in. And I love seeing all my ex-NXT guys thriving somewhere, including the new place that I am now watching wrestling. So
how did you like your first episode of Impact? Like, how was the experience in terms of like the production and presentation versus all the other shows you watch?
The entrances are not as spectacular as you would see in a WWE or an AEW. I will say that. However, the one thing that did disappoint me, I didn't put it down in a spit or swallow, but the one thing that disappointed me was the one thing I was really looking forward to seeing, I did not get, and that is Killer Kelly, because that has been one person that has really driven me towards wanting to go check out TNA for a while now, has been Killer Kelly, and she was not on the show. So I was a little sad about that. But overall, I have more spits or swallows than I do spits. I did enjoy the show for the most part.
Just curious.
Speaking of spits and swallows, Katie, do you want to do one more while you're here?
Okay, I'll do one more. Well, fuck, I'm on my phone and I had my notes on my phone. Damn it.
You can just spit me for the dad joke and then tell me to
no,
go fuck
I already
myself.
yelled at you for that. That's not gonna count.
You're not worth a spit.
You're not worth my time. You're not worth my energy right now. You can't even see it. My face is fucking crispy. I got destroyed.
I saw it on Twitter. Hashtag Katie in shorts.
I did wear shorts today. That is a true statement. I'm going to trying to fucking think back to my notes.
Sonya Deville.
Oh, that hasn't been mentioned? Oh my god. Sonya Deville's a big fucking swallow. Come on. Guys, she started it all for me. We talked about this last week. Like, she started it all. And she's gonna manage Shayna and Zoe. That's a big fucking plus. She knows what she's doing. She was a general manager, kind of. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
And she's beautiful. And it's Pride Month.
And on top of all of that, Katie, who did we get that we asked for in that segment?
Fuck. I don't know.
Let me help you out.
Spooky witches.
I'm swallowing Sonya with Katie because she was spitting facts that no one respects Zoe and Shayna. And then
the witches. They were in my notes.
There you go.
My witches.
Alba and Isla show up, point out that Shayna and Zoe never beat them, even though they said they've beaten everybody.
True.
And we got the unholy union, Fire and Desire, the witches, whatever you want to call them, back on our TV, which we've been asking for.
Isla Dawn.
I literally tweeted it last
Isla
week.
Dawn's fine as fuck.
I was like, where the fuck
Dude.
are they at?
I don't know if it's because she's been gone so much and I don't follow her on social media, but Isla Dawn, every time I see her on TV, it's like, who the fuck are you?
No, you
Why did
literally
it seem
follow her
like you
Instagram,
just went
she's
Super
beautiful.
Saiyan in terms of like your like appeal and try? Like, she was already gorgeous, but then do you see her with maybe it's the hair? I don't know what it is, but she's
She
like
lightened her hair.
Katie out here with the brown breaker in his hand.
Oh, fuck off.
I'm glad you like it. Thanks for joining us.
Disrespect.
Yeah, but yeah, no. Swallowing Sonya, being a part of all that, Fire and Desire, as I like to call them, showing back up, the Unholy Union. Big swallow there.
Big.
I know we don't fuck with her, but she made her return on SmackDown, Blair Davenport, and when I was watching SmackDown, I'm like, if they put her in the faction with Unholy Union, you can call them the Blair Witch Project.
No, go to hell.
That's low.
Vince, please write that down and send that to me for a bullet point.
Okay,
No,
I got it.
I can't.
Why
I
don't
hear
you fuck
no,
with
I-
Blair Davenport?
Hmm?
Why don't you fuck with Blair Davenport?
Because she's a fucking bitch.
Fair.
She's
Fair.
a bitch. She can barely wrestle. And
she
sucks.
did some bad things out there in the English Indies.
Yeah. No, I
She's
get
bad,
that.
bad, real bad.
Yeah.
Give me the deets and DMs, then I'm real confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt can give deets and DMs.
However,
Yeah.
I will say this: when I saw her on SmackDown, I was like, I thought it was Paige for a second,
Wrong
just
show.
like with a white streak in her hair, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Oh wait, no, that's Blair. That did not look like her.
It did not look like
looked
Blair.
just like Saraya. And I was like, "What the fuck is going on? Am I watching the right show?" Oh yeah, okay.
That was Timo Saraya. That was Timo Saraya. That's what that was.
She fucking wishes she could be Team Saraya, and I barely like Saraya.
Yeah, no, she's problematic too.
I hate her.
Vince, spit or swallow.
Okay, you know what? Since we're talking about threesomes, I'm gonna swallow this threesome teasing we're getting between Gunther, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre in the world title picture. Gunther came out, had the whole thing about King of the Ring. I will say he did look a little awkward holding that crown in his hand. Bro, just put on your rocket on your noggin or don't wear it at all. Damian Priest came out. He seemed to be unfazed by Drew and Gunther. Hold up.
Well, Vince is doing that in honor of Pride Month. My notes say swallowing bisexual takers inaugural title reign, being plagued by the biggest and the meatiest. Drew, Braun, and Gunther want to strip him, and they want to strip him bad.
Can you
100%. 100%. So, and that's my whole thing.
Oh.
Jesus, are you okay?
I almost dropped my phone. Sorry.
What?
There's
Leave me alone.
there was so much meat in there that she's like, hold up, time out. But yeah, no, it's been great because they're setting up Gunther versus Damian Priest. Obviously, they started that teasing already because they're gonna set up Gunther versus the world champion at SummerSlam. They also have Drew versus Damian Priest at Clash of the Castle. So that's where we're getting this 3-way teasing. Big Damian, he was unfazed by Drew or Gunther. I love that. He called Gunther a hypocrite, says he doesn't know the rules. I'm just like, bro, what the fuck are you talking about? How like I'm like doing something, I can't remember the exact verbiage. I'm paraphrasing here, but it's like, what do you mean? Like I'm dirty in the sport? I'm doing something honorable or whatever. I won a match. I earned this briefcase. I followed the fucking rules. Do you not know how Money in the Bank works? And I loved how he kind of like talked down to Gunther and just kind of like said it with his chest out, because that's the thing that was missing with Damian Priest is that he needed to just kind of like present himself as like, hey, you're not going to talk shit to me. I am the top guy here. I am the world champion. I'm not going to let this lying down. But yeah, Drew's dumb is in my notes. His strategy is to piss off Damian Priest, but couldn't piss him off, and Damian Priest ended up pissing him off instead, very easily, might I add you. But yeah, I love this. I love this. It's all good shit.
So it's been on the inaugural episode of Smackin' It Raw during Pride Month. It has been a nickname extravaganza. I stripped Vince of the Pornhub Poppy nickname since we are no longer on Pornhub.
I was going to say, we're not on Pornhub anymore, so yeah.
I dubbed Will Black and White Not Gray.
Black and White No Gray.
Yeah, Black and White No Gray. And I believe you should start announcing yourself, Katie, as the pride of the She League Showcase.
The pride.
That's genius. Low
You'll have
key.
to text that to me because I'm not going to remember that.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
I agree. The whole point of the pride thing was bisexual Taker doing his thing. Love all of it. I'm enjoying it. I am.
He's been looking better, especially the last 2 weeks. That confrontation he had with Drew, fucking phenomenal. Pride mommy. I'm about it.
Will spit or swallow?
I'm gonna do 2 real close together, but I just want to knock a couple things off my list. I don't think the first one will be anything that any of you guys will care to talk about, and then I'm going to talk about something I know you guys will have comments on. My first spit is I'm spitting anything having to do with Joe Hendry. I don't fucking believe in Joe Hendry. I'm sorry. This man I'm trying to choose my words good here because I want to have a good working relationship with TNA. He is at best a great mid-card wrestler, not even a main eventer. He's like, he might have a world title shot, but he's never going to convince me that he's main event picture Joe Hendry. I'm sorry. I don't get it. He's over because of a fucking song. I'm sorry. I'm
gonna tag team onto that because during the Joe Hendry match, the Nemeths showed up, and I don't fucking get Ryan Nemeth. I didn't get him in AEW. I don't get him in TNA.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Timo
He does
Ziggler.
not do it for me.
Baby
I
Ziggles.
do also know that his wrestling political alignments with the anti-CM Punk crowd are not where I'd like to, not where I can throw my support.
Boo that guy.
Fuck him for that. Yeah, boo that guy. Boo, tomato.
Where's Jesus? He throws tomatoes.
He throws coconuts at you for a good reason.
Well, I get coconuts because I'm hard-headed, so something's
No, you get
cracking.
coconuts because you refuse to take your shirt off.
That's
But,
all
Will,
three
that
of us
wasn't-
now have said that.
Well, that wasn't your first spit. You lied because your first spit was Chad Gable. That's how we got the whole dad joke thing. That was your very first.
Yeah,
spit was
that's
Chad
how
Gable.
you got me back here.
Yeah,
Basically.
There you go. It's okay. You're allowed
However,
to be wrong sometimes, just like you are about Joe Hendry.
My first spit is going to lead to Vince telling me I'm allowed to be wrong as well, because the one other thing other than Ryan Nemeth from Impact that I watched that I'm spitting is the Rascals, because the Rascals jumped Mr. Perazzo.
Fuck Mr.
Mr.
Perazzo.
Mr.
Fuck.
Perazzo and Santana in a damn good match.
It was a
They
great
were
match.
killing it, and the Rascals came and fucked it all up because Fuck them.
Matt
They do
Shitty Kids are
super
back. I'm so glad you're watching TNA because Matt Shitty Kids are back.
God damn it.
With the Polyamorous portal, all 4 of Matt Shitty Kids can be on the same show. They no longer have to be segregated. Yeah,
What's that?
Who's the fourth?
Myron
Myron
Reed.
Reed.
Who
Jinx.
the fuck is Myron Reed?
I
sorry,
love that
who?
you guys are now. There's like 11 or 12 of us watching TNA. I'm so hyped for this.
Double the numbers in just one episode of NXT.
That's why I don't fucking know who that is.
You know why that's a swallow for me? Because Mr. Perazzo hangs with the same crowd that Mayor Glenn Jacobs does.
Gross.
So
No, he does not.
He
No.
does.
He was a forgotten son, and he denounced Gunner and all of his.
Oh wait, that
ideals
was
and
Gunner. Never
beliefs.
mind. I retract my statement.
Yep. Nope.
Retract my
Mr.
statement.
Being blasphemous. That's crazy.
Mr. Cutler is all right.
He is
No,
also
I'm from Chicago. No Cutler is all right in my book.
It's true. Jake
Fair.
Cutler's a piece. He's a Vanderbilt boy. I don't give a fuck about that. One, I do love Mr. Perazzo. Steve Macklin, he's an alum of Botch Bots and Cheer Shots, no free shout outs. And he's a Marine. So like just passing Memorial Day and everything for the thank you for your service stuff, like all of that. This incarnation of Steve Macklin though might be my favorite because like Ryan Nemeth in NXT.
Ryan Nemeth was never in NXT.
Baby Ziggles was in NXT.
He was in
That just-
AEW.
Yeah, that
Did
tips
I
me
say
over.
NXT? Did I fuck that up? Did I say
Don't.
NXT?
I don't
Don't-
remember him in NXT. I'm sorry.
No, I think y'all didn't like Ryan Nemeth in NXT, alluding to the fact that he made a pit stop in NXT. I know Nick Nemeth made a pit stop in NXT. He was NXT
Yeah.
champion.
Dolph Ziggler went down there and won it for like a cup of
Yeah,
coffee.
Mr. Ziggles. Yeah, he was champion.
Yeah, Ziggles was down there. I didn't know Baby Ziggles was there.
Early NXT.
He was in. When I get into my
Okay.
early NXT shit, we're gonna have to no.
Okay,
No.
okay. Clarifying. Early NXT meaning like the game show NXT or like Hulu version NXT before the network? Because there's 2 different early NXT eras that we unfortunately have to address.
All right. Well, while we're doing that, and I had my split. Katie, do you want to go again, or are you just gonna hang out?
I'll just hang out.
All
My
right.
list is
'Cause
on the
like-
phone that I'm on,
I was
so
gonna
I
say-
don't even know.
We got both women's matches from NXT still on the docket. Liv and Becky still on the docket. Lyra and Kyrie still on the
I'll knock
docket.
out the women matches because that's my last thing from NXT.
Okay.
Okay. Vince, better swallow.
I'm a swallow Kalani Jordan and Mia Yim being added and advancing to the final 2 spots of the North American Women's Ladder match at NXT Battleground in Vegas. This women's ladder match is fucking stacked. I don't care who wins it. All 6 of these women would be a worthy North American Women's Champion.
So Ruka.
I want to be mad at it. She's a great athlete. But personally, biases want me to lean towards Jada Parker for reasons.
Fair.
For reasons. She hangs out with Mexicans that wear flannel, so.
Okay.
so we all made it out the month together. So yeah, so swallowing Jada Parker, swallowing Kalani Jordan, Mia Yim, like they both had really good matches. Then Kalani Jordan didn't really get a lot of time in the ring, but still they highlights here. So swallow
Also, because I still have a bunch of stuff to help speed this along. Along with that, the other women's match you didn't mention, since you were swallowing the women's matches on NXT. This one, much more in Matt Ritter's ballpark. Lola Vice versus Ariana Grace,
It was such
ladies
a
and
fun
gentlemen. On top of that, Shayna shows up at the end of the match to get at Lola Vice and gets held back because she wants a piece of Lola after Lola turned
we all
on
want
her.
a piece of Lola.
I'm excited for NXT Underground at Battleground.
Mhm.
I love me some Lola Vice. I enjoyed the shit out of Ariana Grace. It was a beautiful aesthetic as well as a fun match. So it
Agreed.
had everything I look for.
Good shit all around. NXT just knocked it out of the park this week. Really good episode.
Will spit or swallow?
I'm going to swallow something and then immediately spit something back up. What do we call that?
Throw
Is
up.
it not, it's not really a gargle because like I'm swallowing the majority of it, but I'm spitting a little bit back. You'll see when I finish what I'm saying. I'm swallowing Mercedes and Willow's match at Double or Nothing. An 18-minute great match. It wasn't going to be a banger because it was Mercedes' first match back since injury. There was a lot of like build up to it with the New Japan strong women's title and everything that went into it. So I'm swallowing that and then putting on a good match because there was a lot of, in the IWC specifically, there was a lot of back and forth about either the match was going to be great or it was going to be absolutely terrible. And it didn't seem like there was going to be any other option. And I went out there and they showed us that there was another option. They could just have a really good to great match. Yeah. But what I'm spitting is that in the 5 years that AEW has been in existence, an 18-minute and 36-second match is your longest women's match in history. So I'm spitting the fact in 5 years, you've had almost 2 handfuls of 60-minute matches on your main TV program, but you don't have a 20-minute women's match in your 5-year history. That's wild to me.
Because Tony Khan hates women.
It's a swap, Will.
A swap? I'll accept that. Thank you,
or you just couldn't take the whole load in your mouth. That's all it was. A little bit dribbled out.
Yeah. So you got to do what you can.
Sometimes if the load's too big.
We should add that as a category, a swap. When you want to
Daddy Will.
Perk. I think he meant to say Perk Daddy Will.
He probably meant preach, but
preach Daddy Will. Yeah, I can do that.
It could be both. Preach. There.
Now I'm gonna do that thing that Katie hates that I do. So I'm gonna swallow Stat and Stoke. They came out as OC was turning down Don Callis just to let us know that Trent didn't, as Trent jumped Orange Cassidy. And then we got Stoke backstage hyping up Stat, talking about how she's the new Chris Statlander. And she's like, listen, I'm done being everyone's condom. From now on, everyone's going to need a condom for me.
I mean, I don't think that was verbatim what she said, but close.
I mean, protection, condom, it's the same thing, right?
That's what I heard.
Swallowing Chris Statlander being a condom. Or no longer being a condom. Needing a condom.
Swallowing Chris Statlander being beautiful and
that too.
Gorgeous and strong.
All of those things as well.
And
so we got
Bretta.
Pride Mommy, AO. But yeah, no. Vince, did you happen to watch any AEW this week?
I did not.
Okay.
It's against my religion.
Swallow. It is not against your religion.
It is against my religion. You don't know what my religion is. Anyways, I'm gonna go with a swallow here, and torn between one or two, but I think I'll start off with this one. Rey Mysterio versus Carlito. For the first time in 20 years, they've had a match against each other on WWE TV. That was amazing. Carlito rocking the Judgment Day purple, either intentionally or unintentionally. I loved it. That's a swallow. Rey Mysterio also had amazing gear. He had that OG kind of mask where like the back part has like the Mexican calendar instead of like just like having like the breathable mask where it exposes his bald head. I love the color scheme. It all looked fantastic. Rey won. That's also a swallow. Carlito maybe beating Judgment Day. That's a possibility for me. I kind of want to see the CGI Reaper with an afro and an apple. If Dom can get like a thug looking like Reaper, I want a CGI Reaper with a fro and an apple. That's what I want to see. This also started a setup that's leading towards Priest versus Rey. Give it to me now. Give it to me hard. Here's the thing. Damian Priest is taking on all comers. He's fully embracing the polyamorous aspect of pro wrestling right now. He's taking on Gunther, Drew McIntyre, and then now Rey Mysterio. Man, what else can you ask from our
one of those things is not like the other. That's all I'm gonna say.
Amen.
Listen. Meat is meat. The portions might be different, but meat is meat.
That's what Will told his wife before during his vows. First wife,
at least two of them, 3 times.
Yeah, two of them. Yeah. Okay.
Whoa,
As
whoa,
long as the
whoa.
meat's kosher, that's all that matters.
It's seasoned
Will,
properly too.
Will, spit or swallow?
I'm going. Speaking of kosher, I'm going to go to SmackDown, and I'm going to swallow #free Paul Heyman. My second favorite Minch, Paul Heyman right now, besides MJF, he is single-handedly carrying the Bloodline story. Like, it started with Jey Uso in 2020, and then it went to, Jimmy coming in, and then Solo, and then Sammy, and then every single time a person would join the Bloodline, they became what it felt like was helping pull that story along. And now in this iteration of the Bloodline, Paul Heyman is single-handedly taking everything that's happening on TV and convincing you it's real, that the Tongans and Solo are these real fucking dangerous guys, even though Solo's 5-41, including his house show matches. So like this goes further to prove that house shows aren't, canon, because he's supposed to be this unbeatable like thug mafia lord, but he's 5-41 and since beating John Cena.
He literally never wins a match.
So like
Yeah.
so it's like that's a totally different conversation for if house shows are kayfabe or not, or like canon. But I'm swallowing Paul Heyman picking up the Bloodline rather. I'm sorry, and carrying them on his back right now in this Roman absentee time that we're in without anything to help the storyline.
Not only do I fucking love that, I love that we got Street Profits versus God in a tag team match and a nice long tag team match. Listen, Tama Tonga is explosive as fuck. Those clotheslines that he was hitting on Montez Ford, I'm sitting there, and you know me, generally not a match guy, right? Like, I can appreciate some good work in ring, but like it's not my thing. I was very interested in this match, watching Tama go, watching him just wreck Montez Ford. Very impressed by Tama Tonga. As you said, Paul Heyman out there trying to temper and failing to temper the new aggressive Bloodline. Solo's like, hey, KO's out there. Go fucking handle business. And Paul is genuinely terrified, and he is trying to be a good person and explain to Kevin Owens, listen, I respect you. Roman did what he did out of respect for you. Because of that, and because we respect you, do not fuck with these guys because they will murder you. Like, they don't respect you. They don't give a fuck about you, KO. And KO's like, I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about them. I don't give a fuck about nobody. I'm Kevin Owens, and I will fight everyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
Enjoy the shit out.
I spit also while you're there. I wrote down God not getting an entrance.
Yeah.
Because I feel like God, and I specifically wrote God because I was like, I feel like that's the reference point. Like, it's just going to say it. So, and when you said it, I was like, yes, the joke will land. God not getting an entrance on that match because it said Bloodline. And I was like, you'll reference the fact that God is a 7-time IWGP champion, but you won't call them by their government name.
Hopefully they'll get that. Hopefully eventually they'll just be dubbed Gorillas of Destiny. And once they get a full tag team entrance, and I kind of had this in my notes as well, I'm swallowing the men's tag team division because of the story progression that we're getting with those titles. Obviously, we saw it early on with Waller keeps the discrediting Theory's accomplishments, saying that he gave him the Waller rub, and that's why he's succeeding right now. Costs him the win and the match versus Tommaso Ciampa. I think DIY are going to eventually get those titles off of A-Town Down Under. Yeah. They're going to feud, and then either after a few months or shortly thereafter, that's where God takes tag titles and brings them into the Bloodline. And their match was fantastic against the Street Profits. They're eventually going to be our tag team champions sooner rather than later. And I'm looking forward to it because they're adding something different to the tag team division. A credible, solid tag team on the level of the Usos or New Day and even Revival that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. And that's what the tag team division needs.
Do you think Cornette Gorilla incident is why they aren't calling them God?
Ooh.
No, I think it's just a WWE thing. Honestly, they let them keep their names, but they're not going to use their New Japan Tag Team name. They are part of the bloodline. It is their way of kind of making them into the WWE system. It's kind of how they do. Same thing like the OC, the Good Brothers, like
They were called a club. I mean, they couldn't really
Yeah.
go with Bullet Club. That's copyrighted.
right.
They couldn't really use
so-
Bullet Club. So, but they were
And
the
I'm
club. They're
I'm assuming God might also be copyrighted, or that trademark may be held by New Japan.
it's something that the Will Gray might know if he puts his thinking cap on and search things up.
I actually already know the answer to this. I can use an analogy you guys will understand for Japanese wrestling. New Japan is owned by a company that's called Bushi Road.
Mhm.
I know I've said them on this show a few times. You've probably heard other New Japan fans reference them. What Bushi Road is notorious for is two things. One, being in bed with the Yakuza, which is a really cool story if you want to look that up, the Japanese mafia.
Facts.
But the other side of it is the fact that they are the Japanese WWE in the sense that they sleep and they get all these wrestlers in bed with them, and then they like to trademark these things. That's why the Bullet Club, you'll see a lot of these offshoots that look like the Bullet Club but aren't, because they can't use that name. That's also like Matt, while I was explaining to you that Team ABC in Impact got permission to use the Bullet Club. That's why they're still members, even though they're
But they're
not
not.
technically affiliated with any of the
100% members. 100% members.
Okay,
I
no,
think
hold
they're
on, because we talked about this. Back up. There are two versions of the Bullet Club right now. There is Bullet Club Gold, and there is Bullet Club War Dogs. Those are
Correct.
the two factions. The only members of the OG Bullet Club are technically Ace Austin and
Chris Bay.
Chris Bay.
Chris
I
Bay.
was thinking Trey Miguel, and I knew that wasn't right. If you're the only two members of the OG Bullet Club and you have no leader of the Bullet Club that you're a part of, then you are only the Bullet Club in the fact that you wear their merch. You are not associated with any leader of a Bullet Club. Therefore, you are not really part of a Bullet Club.
Chase Owens also falls into that, but Chase Owens also runs with the War Dogs. So I think that's where he would fall as a member.
It might be a case where, like, if they show up on either AEW programming or New Japan program and there's an allegiance there, then in that case, like, they just haven't had an opportunity to be aligned with War Dogs. Like, I think that's what they're doing. I think they are aligned with the New Japan.
They're paying their union memberships, but they're not attending meetings.
But
Yeah,
I think
there you go.
also
Still counts.
there are OG members that technically didn't get jumped out of the gang, so to speak, because AJ got beat up by Kenny and the boys when he left to join WWE, but the Good Brothers technically never left the club. So if they were to leave WWE again, they would be OG members of the Bullet Club out there again. They 1,000% would go back to being club members.
Who is their leader? Anyway, we need to move on. From this.
We can move on from the
Carl
lore of the Bullet Club.
Carl
yeah.
Anderson was the leader of the Bullet Club. So
he was
actually
Carl Anderson at one point for a long time in Finland. You're right.
Yeah.
All right, Just,
New
you're in the
Japan,
chat. This is
NXTNA. God, I love this.
Just, you're in the chat. This is for you. On the last day of AAPI month, we had the first ever Vietnamese women's wrestler on mainstream television in Vivian Van wrestle Tony Storm last night, and that is Swallow.
Shout out.
Okay. Sure. I didn't watch anything.
It was a good match. You should go back. I was on Twitter and they had a bunch of clips and shit from it. So
I think I saw one clip, but like
I've
it's
also
Tony
been
Storm.
following Vivian Van for a while, and I'm a fan. So
Really?
I feel like I've been following her Twitter for a while. Yeah.
Okay.
Vince, spit or swallow?
I'm gonna get the one out of the way that you guys may not be on my side with, because everything else I think we might agree with. So
Except
let's
for everything you've said so far. So
we'll see. I'm gonna swallow Liv Morgan, still your women's world champion, by shenanigans. Dom came out like at some point during the match, was trying to open the door. It's like, come on, Becky, get in, come on, get out of here. Then the rest of Judgment Day, minus Damian Priest, show up. JD and Finn. They're like, "Hey man, what are you doing? What's going on here?" Trying to make it seem like there's tension there, you know. And then they're eventually just like, "You know what? Fine, whatever. Do whatever you want to do." And then they start to leave. Braun Strowman sees, "Hey, Big Head's out there. Let me go chase him." He comes out, tries to chase JD McDonough and Finn around the ring. Then as he's doing that, isn't able to catch them, but he side tackles Dom into the cage door, slamming it into Becky Lynch, allowing Liv Morgan to get the victory. That was a very, very ingenious, creative, intertwined, polyamorous storyline sequence to finish a match that I very much loved. I liked it. But I am going to spit the fact that Liv Morgan, without the proper consent, kissed my boy Dom. He is handicapped right now. He's on his arm is in a sling. He couldn't defend himself. He couldn't fight off. He didn't consent. If you go back in the action replay, he had his mouth closed the whole time. He had a face like he didn't approve. He did not consent. And then afterwards, Liv was the one's like, "Oh, I got one over on you. I got away with one." And Dom felt violated, and I feel violated too.
Vince, you are not going to be able to play both sides of this argument. You cannot sit out here and talk about all of the rendezvous that Dom and Liv have been having and all of the things that we have seen them in the rooms that they have come out of, the back seats of cars they have climbed out of together and been all for it, and now call this non-consensual. We are not playing both sides of that field.
Listen,
however,
I can
right.
understand.
I disagree. Go ahead.
I was about to say, I can understand wanting to get your hands on Dom and lay a big one on his big old lips.
Anyway. So
I
spit this not for Liv winning. I enjoy Liv winning. However, the fact that Judgment Day is incompetent, and the whole stupid finish of Braun chasing JD, who ran into Dom, who then hit Becky with a door. That whole thing played out in a way that I did not enjoy. It was very cartoony and dumb, about it. I did, however, enjoy the after the show goes off air kiss between Dom and Liv and the continuation of Liv taking everything from mommy, including her boy toy.
I spit everything that you said as well. Like Matt pretty much summed it up. It was a shaky ending where they took a hat and put a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat on a hat. There was no need for the JD and Braun stuff to be involved. There was no need at the core of it for anybody else in Judgment Day to be involved except for Dominic.
The reason why it was done, because it was presented to us at King and Queen of the Ring that he inadvertently helped Liv win
the title. So he was going to help Becky win it back. I understand that. I'm not taking away from him.
And him slamming the cage door on Becky was by mistake. If you saw back, and we didn't address it, but JD was seen talking to Liv Morgan. Damian Priest called him out on it. He said he was just telling Liv that she wasn't going to stay women's champion. My idea is that they're secretly working together. JD, Finn, Dom, and Liv. They're going to have their own little thing, and Priest is out of there because they're not fucking with him right now. He doesn't want to fuck with them after WrestleMania since he's been champion.
Yeah, because they all suck.
So JD has been chased by Braun Strowman. They knew that if JD came out ringside, Braun was going to come out. And if they ran around the ring and chased him, they can make it seem they're still trying to make it seem like they didn't try to help Liv win on purpose. But now it does feel like it's a very polyamorous scheme here.
Are you just trying to say that word any fucking chance you get?
Oh yeah, I'm trying to wheel it in there any chance I get.
Do you like?
It's already the title. You don't have to.
Do you like Twilight?
I like it. Yes.
Do you like Twilight?
Team Jacob.
Okay, so you like Twilight. That makes a lot of sense.
Team Jacob.
You seem like the kind of person that would like fan fiction.
Team Jacob or Team Edward? Thank you.
It's actually Team Alice. That's crazy. She's the only person that matters.
You strike me as the kind of person that would like a bunch of fan fiction.
I love fan fiction.
I think that looking at it from a perspective where you're grabbing that many logs to make your story seem fit, like I think you're reaching a little bit. Like you're putting puzzle pieces together where you're like, well, if they do A, then B makes sense, and then C makes sense because of that. Like in
Team
this,
Alice. Team Alice. Team Alice.
That's the only correct answer.
in the sense of that Liv Becky match, Dom makes sense to interfere, yes. But when you start stacking 2 and 3 other people that aren't involved with Liv and Becky's story at all, it becomes a reach.
Okay, let me ask you this: if the objective,
hold on. Go. This is the last point, and then we have to move on. We have less than 20 minutes left, and a lot of shit we still have to cover. Also, I don't even know who half the fucking people you guys are naming are anymore. So,
Alice and
Well,
Jasper, the hottest people in
if the objective is to make it appear within the story that Dom is so incompetent that he is trying to help Becky retain it, win in general, that he's actually inadvertently costing her the match. But that is just a ruse that he's actually purposely trying to make it seem like he's doing.
He's just been incompetent the entire time he's been on TV. That has been
That's my point, though. Is you're taking,
but he's not being incompetent. This is all strategic. This is all the plan.
You're taking what we've seen on TV, and then you're making these assumptions. There's nothing that's happened on TV that says what you're saying is going to happen. What I'm saying is there was no reason for Braun Strowman and JD McDonough to be ringside at that match. Dom trying to correct his wrong is what makes sense. When you start stacking 2 and 3 people on top of a cage match,
so how do you get to that part where he accidentally, inadvertently, like slams the door on Becky and costs
her?
It's
WWE. Go watch a fucking pay-per-view from 1996 and watch a screwy finish. The Attitude Era was full of screwy finishes.
That was a screwy finish akin to the Attitude Era, but I think we spent too much time on it. Well, agree to disagree, buddy.
I was literally about to ring the ring bell. All right. Will, spit or swallow?
I'm going to spit everything that has to do with the Liv and Becky cage. No, I'm just kidding.
I would have muted you and moved on.
I would have left.
I'm going to spit the Swerve versus Dino Bro match on Dynamite because I have also written down from Double or Nothing spitting the overall handling of Swerve's title run because they seem to be putting him in these positions where he's wrestling people that aren't viable contenders. So instead of building him up to make him look like the most valuable person in the company, they're doing Swerve a lot of the same way they did Adam Page, where they're making everything happening around him seem bigger than his actual title reign.
Fair. I've seen a lot of complaints about where he's put on the card as the world champion and the matches that he's wrestling and how as world champion, he doesn't feel like world champion. He's wrestling in the first hour. He's not doing any, he's wrestling, like you said, guys like Luchasaurus and I'm with you on that.
Government name.
Yeah, no.
Sorry. Switch.
He's being booked like the kind of world champion that CM Punk was when he first cashed in Money in the Bank, and he was the world champion on Raw. But the main story was like revolving around Batista, John Cena, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and he was just like the dude with the world title, but not really world champion. And that's really how Swerve is being like handled, honestly. So we're just gonna flash our pussies at the camera. Well, is that what we're doing?
That was unintentional. I didn't mean for that to happen.
That is correct. You are not allowed to, Katie. Even in Pride Month.
It's a hate crime.
While we're on AEW, I am going to swallow Mathematics and Nickelback coming out and handing out gifts. Katskuchi got a Lambo. Not only did Katskuchi get a Lambo, but they're like, hey, Jack, you want the TNT title? Because Adam doesn't need it anymore. He could have lost it to Malachi, but he decided not to, and then he got hurt, so he doesn't need it anymore. And then Christopher Daniels comes out. Little Adam Pearce comes out, who was fired. Yes.
Did they actually say a commentary that Adam Copeland could have lost the title to?
No, that was my additional.
I was gonna say if they said that, I might turn around on Mathematics and Nickelback and be like, okay, that would have popped me.
Baby Adam Pearce came out He's rehired by Tony Khan as an interim EVP, and everything that he says comes directly from Tony Khan, including the fact that we are going to get a tournament to qualify for a ladder match to determine the new TNT champ. We're not just handing it over to Jack Perry all willy-nilly. And when the Elite go after him, the Acclaimed come out and back up. What? You gave me a funny look when I said when the Elite go after him, the Acclaim came out.
I don't like Max Caster.
I understand that. But we do like Anthony Bowens, and I love Daddy Ass. So, like, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. They came out to back up Christopher Daniels, your new interim EVP at the end of the show. Big fan of that. So I'm actually enjoying everything that's going on with the new Elite and Mathematics and Nickelback and Katsuchi and even the guy that got lit on fire with a fucking flamethrower.
So Matt, are you saying that in June of 2024, Matt Ashley has positive things to say about the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega?
He has been saying positive things about the new
Crazy.
I had
past
that
few
in
weeks.
May of 2024. Now, mind you, I don't like the Young Bucks in-ring work. I don't like their shoe shit, but the characters that they are playing and what they are doing on TV, for what I enjoy, for the storytelling, for that part, the drama bullshit, I am enjoying it. Listen, they are, in my full belief, in real life, absolute total dickheads, and they are just being allowed to be themselves on TV, and it is fucking working. And I think that's why. They're being themselves and turning it up to 11. They're already at a 10. They're only cranking it up a little bit. But I truly believe this is who they are in real life, and because of that, I am enjoying it. Kenny Omega has just made amends and done some things that I appreciate. You know, I don't have any problems with CM Punk and fuck Mathematic and Nickelback but Jackson for the shit that they're doing. And also Dave Meltzer's an idiot, and I ruined him, and he took full credit for ruining Dave Meltzer. So, like, he's made amends for his sins, and I can't knock the man for doing that.
Yeah.
So,
and then he acknowledges Roman too. He's like, I can never say a bad thing about Roman. I put him over tremendously.
Yeah.
Crazy times we're living in where Matt's watching TNA and praising the Elite.
It really is.
Crazy times.
The world ending.
Would not have had that on my 2024 bingo card at all.
Not on my 2024.
Not on mine.
Vince, spit or swallow. This is going to be the last round for everyone. We're going to get the fuck out of here.
Okay, well, since we haven't fucking talked about it, I'm going to swallow AJ Styles pulling the Mark Henry. Coming out, like, doing
You guys haven't talked about that yet?
No, I'm surprised.
No.
I'm surprised.
Will and Vince just keep arguing about shit, and it's taking up the whole show.
Fucking tell.
But yeah,
in fairness, we've talked about more TNA and New Japan than we've ever spoken about on this show in any time. That's why we haven't talked about everything.
Exactly.
Me and Vince didn't argue until the cage match, which still sucked.
It's okay. It's okay, Will. Anyways, yeah, AJ Styles. He pulled the Mark Henry. He came out pretending like he was going to retire. He had this whole thing about how, like, last week was the first time I was able to, like, I was at my son's graduation. How many moments like that have I missed because being on the road? And I want more of that. You know, I'm winding down. Nick Aldis said I had to get back in line. And with my career, with my timeline in my career, I don't know if I have the time to just sit there and wait in line to get back into that title opportunity. And he had his good brothers there. He did a final 2 sweet. He, like, asked Cody to come out because, like, hey, man, you're the last person I'm ever going to wrestle with. You had my last match. You gave me one of the best matches I've had. Put him over. And then he's like, this is the house that AJ Styles built, and I'm here to hand you over the keys. By the way, bar. That's a fucking bar by AJ Styles. And then he goes and proceeds to beat the shit out of him and set up AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes 2. Fucking loved it, man. That was a great episode of SmackDown.
There's one takeaway from that.
Yes.
You never trust a man in a pastel jacket.
There's a theme.
Salmon and baby blue.
Was that by design by AJ Styles?
More than likely, yes. It was almost bar for bar. What the fuck happened with Mark Henry? Because he had John Cena come out, and Cody Rhodes is basically the new John Cena. Ergo, bar for bar.
Damn, that's crazy. he out here being like Soldier Boy. He stole my floor, bar for bar. everything. Oh man, I loved it. Man.
I hated that everyone was like, it's the Mark Henry thing. It's the Mark Henry thing. Yes, always the bear in the woods,
Always
never the man.
choose the fucking bear.
Always choose the bear. I hated, like, everyone had the same idea, like it was an original idea, like no one else caught it, like they thought they were the smartest person ever putting that together, and it wasn't even that long ago, and that drove me nuts on the
I didn't
internet.
even
But
watch SmackDown.
what happened was
all
great.
I fucking saw.
I know.
Well, I mean, it was plain and obvious,
Yeah,
it's great.
Will, your last spit and or swallow?
I'm going to gargle undecidedly Will Ospreay getting a world title shot, because it's cool, because we know we're going to get a banger of Swerve versus Ospreay, but now you have to figure out how to make it make sense that either Ospreay has to take an L or Swerve has to take an L and drop the belt. But on top of that, you have to make two super duper fucking over baby faces make sense in a story between now and then. And I feel like that's going to be tough, because Tony Khan's he's reading at a Dr. Seuss level. And I think when it comes to the books he's doing and the words he's writing with a crayon and not a pencil, I could come up with 100 other like poor analogies with how like poorly he writes his show. But we're gonna have to come up with something quick for this to make sense. Otherwise, we're gonna be going, why did this happen so soon?
Well, I talked about this with Savannah. The point of a Forbidden Door show, which is in 2 weeks, by the way, so they have no time. The point of a Forbidden Door show is to have your current champions and your current talent in AEW taking on current talent and champions from other promotions. CMLL, New Japan, Stardom, whomsoever. Having your AEW World Heavyweight Champion taking on your AEW International Champion, and I love Will Ospreay, but what in the fuck? No, that's stupid. It's a waste of time. I'm not even gargling it, I'm spitting it. I'm spitting the fact that AEW talent was in that gauntlet bullshit period.
Yeah. I'm going to add, I can't remember who the fuck said it. I think it might have been Jeff Cobb that said how crazy how just one of their wrestlers can show up to our promotion and get an opportunity at our top title without having to jump through hoops, but New Japan talent have to go into a fucking gauntlet match just to get after their world title.
Because Tony Khan sucks.
From the moment they've been doing this partnership and this whole Forbidden Door with New Japan Pro Wrestling, they've been fucking over New Japan with no lube. They did it when they started AEW. And they continue to do so. They don't treat New Japan like an equal. They treat it like, oh, this is our side piece that we're going to go ahead and exploit to our advantage and then toss her to the wayside until next year when we want to use her again.
I don't like the phrasing of use, but yes.
Okay, entertain, entangle.
I do. But I forgot. I got a text message that a friend just bought a wrestling promotion, and that was super random at 12:30 in the middle of the night.
Random swallow.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, he said 12:26. I got a message. It says the deal is done. He messaged me this morning saying he was going to meet with the owner of the promotion. So I'm sorry. My brain completely like hit a factory reset right after I raised my hand and I looked at my computer screen and saw what it said.
Congrats.
All right, I'm going to have you remember what that is, and we'll talk post-show. I'm going to bang out all of my last swallows real quick just so we cover everything, and then we're going to get the fuck out of here. Swallowing, Lyra Valkyria defeating Kairi Sane, and then Io Skye, my daughter's favorite wrestler, losing her shit backstage. Swallowing, over on Impact, Gresham versus Callahan. I enjoy Gresham's Cthulhu gimmick, the fact that he got fluids all over Callahan after the match. It was explained to me that whatever black fluid he leaks is making people sick and affecting people. Thank you for that, Will, for explaining to me what the fuck was going on there. And also, I really enjoy Aiden English and Tom Phillips on commentary over there. That is a really good commentary team, in my opinion. I was enjoying them. Aiden English, Chicago boy, show him some love. So yeah, and
Marriage
then
to
the last thing,
Guerreros.
SmackDown, Nia Jax, who looked fucking amazing, getting her fucking crown, fine as fuck, coming out. Bailey gets called out. Bailey also fine as fuck, looked amazing.
Oh,
Getting jumped by Chelsea and Piper, getting smashed by Chelsea and Piper. I'm enjoying everything Piper, Niven, Bailey, Chelsea putting Piper over, telling Nia, hey, you're not challenging Bailey for this title. You're challenging Piper for this title. And Nia being like, I don't give a fuck who I fight. I'm going to kill you all, and it's going to be my belt. I'll see whoever at SummerSlam. Have fun.
Nia looked better as Queen of the Ring than Gunther did as King of the Ring.
And
Well, it's
Chelsea
'cause
and
Nia's
Piper got the
evil.
win over Naomi and Bailey in that tag match, which was something.
And
Yeah.
the Bailey versus Piper is official for Clash at the Castle.
There we go.
She's from Glasgow too, right?
Mm-hmm. Scotland's own.
All right. Will, you are the Will, you're the guest. Go ahead and plug everything: botched spots, chair shots, Rivet City Radio.
First and foremost, as always, I want to say thank you, Matt and Katie and Vince, for allowing me to be the honorary oos of all things Creation World. If you're interested in my shenanigans elsewhere, you can check my link tree at the Will Gray. Anywhere you do anything on the internet, there you will find everything I do for Botch Spots and Chair Shots, Rivet City Radio, Off the Top Media, and my writing profile for Last Word on Sports.
Katie?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, KatieWrestling13, Linktree provides all things She Leads Showcase, Twitch.tv/She Leads Showcase, and YouTube.com/She Leads Showcase. This week, Wednesday night after Dynamite. Yeah, happy Pride, bitches.
Vicente Alejandro Delgado Estrada.
Yeah, don't follow me anywhere. Go check out the Get Your Podcast at Get Your Podcast on the Twitters and everywhere else where you consume your audio podcasts.
Vince just gave up after I wrecked him in that fantasy draft. He doesn't want anyone to follow him anymore because I won. It's over. You guys can follow me at Matt Ritter. That's MATTRIDDER on Twitter only at Getting Off. Getting Off is your horror content. Matt Ritter is your wrestling content on Twitter. Everywhere else, Smackin It Raw, Instagram Threads, Blue Sky, TikTok. I posted some TikToks today. Next week, we will be having Shayna Hill from TikTok joining us. We are going to be edging with Shayna next week, so come join us. Katie will be back in full next week. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you just have to go look at my TikTok. It's a whole thing. Go check that out. Getting Off is also back next week on Sunday. It is the Katie Horror Showcase 3. We are talking Children of the Corn and all of the latest horror news and rumors, so come join us for that as well. For Vicente Alejandro Delgado Estrada, the Will Black and White No Gray, and the pride of the She Leads Showcase, Miss Katie Kinsey Bebe. I am the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Matt Ritter. And this has been your #1 wrestling podcast on your favorite spicy sites.